Hello everyone, my name is Harp and welcome back to another SH Figuarts review. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Son Goku Super Saiyan from the Z Fighters, the Tamashii Nations store exclusive. Now, for those that are unfamiliar as to how I got this when I went to San Diego Comic-Con. For those that are unfamiliar with how they run San Diego over in the Bandai Tamashii Nations section, is they allow you to buy a lot of the store exclusive items that are available through the store in New York. So they bring those over, they bring a lot of stock in, and I'm pretty sure I was like one of the only people to actually buy pretty much every store exclusive at once, which is kind of funny to say the least. But I'm very excited about this figure because I have always wanted this figure ever since it was announced, and I'm just a little bit upset that it was a store exclusive. But without further ado, let's take this guy out and see how he looks. Of course, I had to do this with style, and my god, is this presentation beautiful. I am so happy to finally have this figure in hand. And let me start off by saying that this guy is both worth it and not worth it at the same time. And I'll explain that in just a second. Now, if you are a fan of Dragon Ball, I think this is the perfect Goku to have in a display. Unfortunately, it is a Super Saiyan, the 2.0 Goku body, which is an unfortunate case because it's still using outdated technology in today's standards, which I don't have the biggest issue with, but at the same time, wish they would have saved something like this for when, for example, now that they announced the Cell Games Goku, for something like that to be used here. But again, this still looks really cool nonetheless, and I'm happy that this figure was made, as a matter of fact. So, funny enough, the biceps and the arms are kind of like twisted weirdly. They're not supposed to be fully twisted like that, but they are. Now, when it comes to the aesthetic of this figure looks fantastic in every which way, and I love it. I love the translucency that they actually used for the gi. It's not fully translucent, but it is in some areas. For example, the chest itself does look translucent. It does look really nice though. It doesn't fully showcase like the actual internals of the figure, and that's something that I really like. Actually, let me bring a figure to actually compare it with. It is a third-party figure, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you know which one I'm talking about. Alright, so the figure in comparison that I'm bringing here is the Demoniacal Fit 2.0 Goku that came with the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan Dual Pack. And I gotta say, Demoniacal Fit did a good job, but at the same time, they are a third-party company that don't have the resources to actually make a full-on, great-looking figure like this. And I'm not saying that Demoniacal Fit doesn't make good figures. They actually definitely do. It's just sometimes things like this may not end up looking how they should. But when it comes to like an official figure, this one looks fantastic. And I think they actually hit the right spot by having a lot of different like creative choices. Like, for example, this one is supposed to be the Go's Goku, which makes sense. He's supposed to be translucent. I know Bandai did the full blue translucent Goku, which also does work a little bit better than this one, but I do like the colors on this one a little bit more. But enough of talk of this one. We're focusing right here on this guy. Again, the translucent yellow-orange looks beautiful. The only big thing is that it does showcase the actual pins or the actual screws of the figure right here in the actual legs, but it's not a big deal because you can use like the big flaps right here to kind of cover them up and not make them as visible as they actually are. The skin tone is definitely much different, a little bit more yellowish to actually showcase the yellow aura, which is a nice thing to have. And I'm probably going to end up buying a yellow aura myself just to actually have it on display for this figure. The face sculpt is definitely the most appealing thing about this figure, in my opinion. I think they've definitely been improving on the face sculpts, and it is important to note that because they have been adding these face sculpts that are so good looking to the 2.0 figures and also older figures, which I really appreciate and commend them for actually doing, because it is a sort of like breath of fresh air for older figures, because they did not have the best looking head sculpts or face sculpts in this instance. But this guy does, and it does look like he's ripped straight from the actual Z or the Chala Head Shala intro, and I love it. The hair is also really nice when it comes to like kind of like the candy corn look, but it is a translucent look. It's not so much candy corn like, it's definitely just more translucent than anything else, and I like it. I think it really works well, and I think they had a nice balance as to not showcase the actual internals of the figure. You can still see them through a little bit, but it works well. It reflects beautifully in the light, as you can see right here in the actual video, but it works fantastic. And as you can see, I don't have Piccolo, unfortunately. I still am missing the Namekian. I forgot what his name is, like his specific name, but I am missing that Piccolo, which is not going to be long until I actually get him, because I'm pretty sure he's still available in Amazon, but I really do like this figure. So now, I've been saying that a lot. The biggest issue that I have with this figure so far, and it's not so much with, like, aesthetics, I think the aesthetics actually look beautifully, is the price. And I'll get more into that towards the end of the video, but this figure is $58, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is not worth the $58. It definitely should be lower, probably $50 at most, but $58 is definitely stretching it out just a tiny bit. But when it comes to the articulation, we all know how this works. Let me just showcase that it is a hinge, ball hinge right here. And something I forgot to mention, he does have the green Super Saiyan eyes, which look beautiful. I will praise him for that. The green Super Saiyan eyes just fit a lot better than the blue eyes, and also sort of like the bluish turquoise eyes. But I think the turquoise is a nice in between the full-on green for like transformation. Beautiful. Now, articulation, we all know it, we all love it. Sometimes we all hate it as well. The arms don't work the greatest, but we do have the sleeves that get them to a T-pose position, 360 degrees, hinges on the sleeves, bicep swivel, that works well. This one is a little bit tight, of course, so I'm just gonna have to break the figure in. Double jointed elbow, that works okay, pretty good, over 90 degrees, and a wrist hinge that works as it's intended. Now, when it comes to the torso, we all know that this Goku does not necessarily have the best torso articulation, but he can go forward this far, and then he can go backwards this far. He doesn't have much of an ab crunch as well, which is something that should be fixed with the new upcoming Goku later down this year. The legs, splits, not the greatest, because the sleeves are definitely the biggest issue here, where these sleeves just serve no purpose, and instead of just making the figure sculpted better, which is what they have been doing with the 3.0s, they just added the sleeves here, which is the bane of my existence. So splits, you're going to get about 90 degrees, a little bit better than that if you tuck them in. So there's that. Kicking forward, pretty good, a little bit better than 90. You can get it better than 90 with the kicking backwards, because he can do the splits front and back. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, which still looks ugly no matter what. And of course, we have the boot peg going forward that far, backwards this far, and a toe hinge that does not necessarily look the greatest. So again, this is your typical 2.0 Goku that will work like your typical 2.0 Goku. Now, it is still a great looking figure, and I do love it for that. I'm not gonna kind of like exclude it from the flaws that the figure has, because this body does have enough flaws, and they've used it multiple times that it's getting tiresome. Hopefully, they actually have stopped because of the new Goku coming out. But yeah, let's look at the accessories to see if it is completely justifiable to spend $58 or more for this figure, and I'm telling you, it is not. But let's move on to those. Alright, so this store exclusive Goku does come with like the bare minimum of accessories that a figure should have, which is unfortunate. We do get this nice translucent head sculpt that does not have that many differences from the regular one, except that his bangs are a little bit more flared up, and that's pretty much it. Like, he doesn't have much of a difference. The front bangs are different, but not anything else. So it makes me wonder how they couldn't just sculpt these bangs to work on this face. But alas, it is something that they included to, quote-unquote, justify the price. And it does have a slight different variation, but it's not enough to actually increase the price to what it is. Now, we do have a face sculpt that is grinning, which is really well sculpted, and I love it. It looks great with the green eyes. And we have a shouting face sculpt, which again, they've been improving a lot on their face sculpts that they actually look accurate to the show. So, beautiful face sculpts nonetheless. Now, we do have instant transmission hands, we have Kamehameha hands, Ki Blast shooting hands, and fighting pose hands. All for a beautiful price of $58. Leading into my final thoughts, I'm actually going to keep it short and simple because I kind of don't want to take any pictures of this guy, but I probably will, just to showcase it here. As an overall score, I am going to give this figure an 8 out of 10. The only reason I'm deducting 2 points, first, because of the price, and also the store exclusivity. And second, it's just the body. The body is outdated. We need more updated stuff for this Goku. So hopefully, in a couple of years, we actually get a new Sea Fighters Goku with the 3.0 Goku body, which should be the standard later on, hopefully at least. Now, I think an 8 is definitely sufficient, but at the same time, it is stupid that this is a store exclusive. I've mentioned it plenty of times, and $58 is definitely a high asking price. Something that actually would have justified the price for this figure is if they actually had added an aura effect for the background, because he actually does get boosted with the aura. It would have been nice if we had a sort of like translucent, like going around the figure aura instead of just the full-on background aura that we usually get with the figures. And you'll probably see a picture of that here throughout the actual video in terms of what I'm talking about. But just kind of like the aura going around him instead of just being behind him would have been a nice way of doing it, especially with the way that they actually did this hair sculpt. It would have been perfect. So at that point, they would have definitely bumped it to like $60, but I think it would have been a nice addition to actually have, and definitely would have justified the price a lot more, because $58 is still expensive for a Goku figure like this, especially if you're going to make it exclusive. So I don't think it's completely worth it. It's definitely not a figure that you're missing out on, besides just the actual like looks of it. If you really enjoy how he looks, you can probably get him for like $70 online, but I would not suggest that too much. So that's like my 2 cents in that. But that's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Because I myself love it, but I cannot justify some of its issues with it. But besides that, like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.